Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Cody Ginrich, and as the current SAVMA president, I have been given the opportunity to welcome you all here today. I'm honored to have a small part in this exciting and monumentous day for these grads, not only for the students, but also for the parents and their loved ones who have been alongside them on their journey. And what a journey it has been. Many hours in the classroom, many hours spent studying, loss of sleep over upcoming tests, and hours spent in clinicals. Thank you to all those who have supported these graduates as they pursued their goals and dreams. Without your support, many may have fallen by the wayside. Their dedication in becoming a veterinarian will serve them in coming years as they practice their craft. So on behalf of the student body and OSU student chapter of the AVMA, I welcome everyone to the graduation ceremony for the class of 2021. I would like to thank each and every one of you for being with us today and supporting these graduates over the past 4 years. Spending time these last 2 years getting to know these graduates has been a blessing for not only myself, but all of the students that will follow in their footsteps. They have been an inspiration to me and have showed me and my fellow classmates what it takes to be successful in this profession. I'm happy to say I've made friendships with many of these students that will last a lifetime, and it will help to serve as a resource and support as I continue throughout school. These grads have shown me how to endure the difficult exam weeks and long hours watching over sick patients. They have proved to have what it takes to be successful in this profession, and I have faith that they will make great veterinarians as they enter into practice. Today is their day, and they have earned every bit of praise and admiration they are being given. At this time, will everyone please stand with me to welcome the graduating classes and the mentors that have served them over the years.
I'll introduce you. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the 72nd graduation of Oklahoma State's Veterinary College. My name is Burns Hargis. I'm president of Oklahoma State for 2 more months. Not that I'm counting. But it is my pleasure today to introduce Dr. Carl Risco, the Dean of the OSU College of Veterinary Medicine, one of only 32 vet med schools in the country. Dr. Risco joined the OSU family 3 years ago and has had great success while he's here. He's reinvigorated our veterinary college and has engaged members of the state legislature and state leaders in working to increase the level of excellence for the college. Dr. Risco, we are thrilled to have you at Oklahoma State and look forward to even more great things happening under your leadership. Ladies and gentlemen, the Dean, Carl Risco. Carlos Risco.
Please be seated. Thank you, President Hargis, and good afternoon, everyone. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you to the 2021 Oklahoma State University College of Veterinary Medicine hooding ceremony. Thank you for joining us today. I want to give a special thanks to President Hargis and First Cowgirl Ann Hargis for their support of me in my role as Dean, and to the college in the many programs that they have been involved in. The College of Veterinary Medicine has gained strides under President Hargis, and we appreciate his leadership. We wish them well in their retirement. Stop by and visit often. This is your home. Thank you to Dr. Greg Campbell, member of the class of 1985, for providing bagpipe music for us today, following 25 years of leading in person, and last year for recorded music. I also want to thank Dr. Josiah Dame for carrying the College of Veterinary Medicine gonfalon and leading the procession. Dr. Dame was the McElroy Award winner for the class of 2020 and has returned with 44 members of his class to participate in today's ceremony. We are very pleased that so many of the class of 2020 are back and joining us for this ceremony and the opportunity to be hooded. At this time, please stand and join us in singing our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you. Please be seated. As you noticed, our faculty led the graduates into the stadium. The procession of graduates then passed through the lines of faculty. This is symbolic of the faculty's care and concern bestowed over the past 4 years on these new veterinarians. Our faculty is the heart of our academic programs. Because of the faculty and our loyal and dedicated staff, we can enjoy a national reputation for producing well-trained, highly sought-after, practice-ready veterinarians. Faculty and staff, please stand and be recognized for your effort. Seated behind me are a number of special guests and dignitaries. Please hold your applause until all have been introduced, and as I announce your name, please stand. Of course, President Burns Hargis, Secretary Blaine Arthur, Oklahoma Secretary of Agriculture, and Oklahoma A&M Regent, Stillwater, Oklahoma. Mr. Calvin Anthony, Oklahoma A&M Regent, Stillwater. Mr. Joe Hall, Oklahoma A&M Board Regent, Elk City. Also joining us in the platform party are college administrators and faculty. Dr. Jerry Malaire, Associate Dean for Research and Graduate Education. Dr. Dan Burba, Professor and Department Head, Veterinary Clinical Sciences. Dr. Martin Furr, Professor and Department Head, Physiological Sciences. Dr. Jerry Ritchie, Professor, Veterinary Pathobiology, who will be our speaker and will also administer the veterinarian's oath. Dr. Teresa Risi, Professor and Department Head, Veterinary Pathobiology. Dr. Jerry Salicki, Professor and Director of the Oklahoma Animal Disease Diagnostic Laboratory. Dr. Jeff Studer, Director of Veterinary Teaching Hospital. Dr. Margie Gilmore, Associate Dean for Academic Affairs, is unable to join us today. She sends her regrets, congratulations, and best wishes. I also would like to introduce my wife, Omi, who has joined us. Participating in our ceremony today are distinct Hooters that have been chosen by our graduates. With those individuals, please stand so that you can be recognized. Thank you for joining us. Each year, the graduating class chooses a faculty member to give congratulatory remarks. This year, our speaker is a professor in the pathobiology department that has helped teach and mentor these students throughout their 4-year journey. Please welcome to the podium Dr. Jerry Ritchie.
I always wanted to rock Boone Pickens Stadium. First, I must begin our time together with an apology. At the practice yesterday, I realized that this face was going to be displayed on a screen larger than Osage County behind me. I was hoping that from 100 to 150 yards, you'd mistake me for Brad Pitt or George Clooney. Oh well, praise God the screen is behind me. Class of 2021, and I can say 2020. I'm honored and humbled that you asked me to represent the fantastic faculty of the College of Veterinary Medicine in delivering your commencement address. This is truly a blessing for me because exactly 30 years ago, I sat where you sit. And I mean that literally because back then, commencement was held here in what was Lewis Field. All graduates would assemble in the stands, and the president would ask each college to stand one at a time and confer the degrees. When they called the College of Veterinary Medicine, this stadium roared, louder than a Cowboy interception and return for touchdown against the poor Sooners. Because all the people knew what an arduous journey you had just completed, and all have respect for an OSU graduate into the greatest profession of the world. At that time, 30 years ago, I never would have dreamed that I would be standing here today, or that I would have the opportunity to mentor hundreds of veterinarians, or that I would get paid money to play face-melting rock and roll songs during lecture. Not a single one of you knows where you will be 30 years from now. It is a mystery. So as they say, it's all about the journey of getting there. There are 6.023 times 10 to the 23rd cliches or quotes about life's journeys. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. For you, that begins today. For some, it may be a straight path on a paved road. For others, you may blaze a new trail. As was said by my pal Ralph Waldo Emerson, it's good to have an end to a journey, but it's the journey that matters in the end. I do realize that I'm the only thing standing in the way of what everyone is here for, so I'll be quick and sit down. I just want you to remember these three things. And as an added bonus, I've already covered number one. It's about your journey. Live each day, advance when you can, retreat if you must, stay on the path or head into new ground. But there's one thing that you all should know by now. You can go anywhere and accomplish anything. Number two is L to the third power. No, this is not my favorite hip-hop group. I'm talking about lifelong learning. Although we are gathered here to commemorate the completion of your formal education, listen to me now and hear me later, my friends. Your education has just begun. Your real school starts now. Veterinary medicine and the practice thereof is constantly changing. You must remain contemporary. Therefore, we leave you with the charge to continue to educate yourself. Textbooks, journal articles, continuing education, and wet labs all await you. These must not be a chore to accumulate your continuing education to remain licensed, but rather a passion to remain the best that you can be. Because now your tests are not measured by grades, but by your intelligence and credibility. You must become a lifelong learner. Don't ever stop asking questions. Don't ever stop learning. After all, isn't that why you chose the greatest profession in the whole wide world? Lastly, number three, there's something that we've all been taught but seldom put into practice. It was published in the Journal of Duh long before most of you were born. That something is keeping things in perspective. If you're like me, there have been times in your life when the walls have caved in, when you seem absolutely isolated and alone, or perhaps you live with the consequences of bad decisions or mistakes. Things may seem as though they could not get any worse. My friends, that's where perspective becomes very important. For me, it was driven home several years ago when I drove to Plainville, Kansas, to meet a man named Paul Van Dyke. Paul was a veteran of the European theater in World War II. He served with my grandfather, whom I never knew because he did not come home from Europe and is buried in an Allied cemetery in Epinal, France. Out of a total of 120 men in their company, Paul was one of 15 that came home. This should tell you about what life was like for Mr. Van Dyke, who was only 18 years old at the time. When you drive home through central Kansas, you have a lot of time to think. I realize that compared to my friend Paul Van Dyke, my own personal tragedies were but mere speed bumps. In fact, some became silly. Mr. Van Dyke came home, graduated from the University of Kansas, and retired after a successful banking career. Sadly, my friend Paul has since passed. His generation was called America's Greatest Generation in a book by Tom Brokaw. In living through the Great Depression and World War II, what else could you throw at them? As such, they lived their lives as if the worst was behind them, rather than like most of us that live each day anticipating that the worst is yet to come. So I encourage you to be like that generation. If you feel like you're being run out of town, get in front of the crowd and make it look like a parade. Remember that you don't have to retreat, you just have to advance in another direction. You can finish last in your league and they might call you an idiot. But you finish last in medical school and they still call you doctor. Doctors, keep it all in perspective. Let's review. Number one, it's about your journey. Number two, L to the third power. Boom, 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 boom. And number three, keep it all in perspective. If I see you at a restaurant later, I'll quiz you, and if you can't answer, I'll take away your diploma. God bless the class of 2021. Thank you for sharing your special day with the class of 2020. May God bless you all, and don't forget Mom on Sunday. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ritchie, for those wonderful and inspiring comments to our graduates. The health of animals has always been mankind's concern. As caretakers of companion and food animals, and oftentimes their health is necessary for our health. Our graduates have accepted the responsibility to preserve the welfare of the animals we value and to protect our world from animal diseases. The veterinarian's oath encompasses this concept. As the class of 2021 publicly confesses their willingness to take this oath, they become doctors of veterinary medicine and take on this responsibility. When I officially confer the degree of Doctor of Veterinary Medicine upon these graduates, they will join the 4,164 veterinarians that proudly call Oklahoma State University their alma mater. Would the candidates for the degree please rise? On behalf of the College of Veterinary Medicine, I present these candidates for the degree Doctor of Veterinary Medicine, with the approval of the Board of Regents for Oklahoma State University and the Oklahoma State Regents for Higher Education. It is my honor and privilege to confer upon each of you the degree Doctor of Veterinary Medicine. with all the rights, honors, privileges, and obligations pertaining thereto. You may now move your tassel from right to left. Congratulations. Please be seated. The following college faculty members will serve as marshals for the hooding ceremony. Dr. Jill Ackerman, Associate Professor of Physiological Sciences. Dr. Giselle Sino, Assistant Professor, Veterinary Pathobiology. Dr. Lionel Dawson, Professor, Veterinary Clinical Sciences. Dr. Susan Fielder, Clinical Assistant Professor, Veterinary Pathobiology. Dr. Katrina Meinkoff, Clinical Assistant Professor, Veterinary Clinical Sciences. And Dr. Robert Streeter, Clinical Professor, Veterinary Clinical Sciences. The class has selected Drs. Mason Reichert and Dr. Tim Snyder, Professors of Veterinary Pathobiology, as their readers, and Dr. Laura Nave, former Associate Professor of Veterinary Clinical Sciences, and Dr. Jennifer Rudd, Assistant Professor of Pathobiology, to place their doctoral hoods. The first group coming forward will be the class of 2020. They completed their clinical training at the very beginning of the COVID pandemic and participated in a virtual graduation. We wanted to give them the opportunity to come back to their alma mater and be hooded in person with family and friends in attendance, and we're delighted and happy to welcome them back. Would Dr. Snyder and Dr. Nave come forward? Marshals, please ready the class of 2020 for their hooding.
Dr. Brooke Bennett has joined SPAY Oklahoma in Tulsa, Oklahoma, recently completing an internship at Oklahoma State University. Dr. Cheyenne Bone. Dr. Brenna Bronner will be joining Applebaum Animal Clinic in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Dr. Mariah Burris joined Yukon Veterinary Hospital in Yukon, Oklahoma. Dr. Ellen Klepper joined Woodland West Animal Hospital in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Dr. Heather Coleman joined Carpenter Veterinary Clinic in Nocona, Texas. Dr. Carly Cunningham joined Banfield Pet Hospital in Norman, Oklahoma. Dr. Josiah Dame joined City Vet in Dallas, Texas. Next is Dr. Mackenzie Deviney, who joined Walnut Creek Animal Hospital in Purcell, Oklahoma. Dr. Rachel Dill is working at a small animal private practice in Dallas, Texas. Dr. Antonia Gallegos joined Freeport Veterinary Medical Center in Freeport, Texas. Dr. Abraham Gamino Aviles joined Crosstown Veterinary Services in Guthrie, Oklahoma. Dr. Jamie Goolsby joined Zion Veterinary Hospital in Hurricane, Utah. Next is Dr. Alyssa Green. She joined Veterinary Emergency Group in New York City, New York. Dr. Kelly Hale joined River Valley Animal Hospital in Barling, Arkansas. Next is Dr. Ida Harbachi. She joined Bowie Drive Animal Hospital in Weatherford, Texas. Next is Dr. Alexa Hunter. She has completed the first of 3 years in a veterinary pathobiology residency at Oklahoma State University. Next is Dr. Julia Jordy, who has joined the Spay-Neuter Assistance Program in San Antonio, Texas. Next, we have Dr. Trey Kraft, who joined the Animal Health Center in Paris, Texas, who is being hooded by his father, the distinguished hooder, Dr. Wallace Kraft. Next is Dr. Kyrie Larrabee. She will join Gray County Veterinary Clinic in Pampa, Texas. Dr. Britta Lay has joined the VCA North Academy Animal Hospital in Colorado Springs, Colorado. Dr. Tanner Leon is performing consultation and relief work in food animal medicine in Oklahoma. Dr. Rachel Lurvey joined Swan Animal Clinic in Amarillo, Texas. Next is Dr. Mallory Nayland. She's joined a practice, Abshermere North in southern Texas. Next is Dr. Jared Nenninger. He joined Veterinary Specialty Hospital of the Carolinas in Cary, North Carolina in an internship program. Dr. Nadine O'Neill joined Blanco Veterinary Clinic in Blanco, Texas. Dr. Audrey Richardson joined Banfield Pet Hospital in Cedar Park, Texas. Next is Dr. Claire Roberts, who joined Banfield Pet Hospital in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Next is Dr. Braden Ruth. She joined Blue Pearl Pet Hospital in Atlanta, Georgia in an internship program. Dr. Erin Sanborn. She has joined Banfield Pet Hospital in Boise, Idaho. Next is Dr. Bailey Sharp. She joined Hansford County Veterinary Hospital in Spearman, Texas. Dr. Emma Shoemaker joined Piedmont Veterinary Clinic in Piedmont, Oklahoma. Next is Dr. Brittany Summermeyer. She joined Parker Animal and Bird Clinic in Plano, Texas. Dr. Megan Stewart has joined Animal Medical Center of Muskogee, Oklahoma. Dr. Austin Stutz joined Town Center Animal Hospital in Colleyville, Texas. Next, Dr. Tricia Swickey has joined Yukon Hills Animal Hospital in Yukon, Oklahoma. Dr. Lena Tarpalici has joined Sheridan Road Veterinary Clinic in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Next is Dr. Angie Thompson, who has joined Northern Pike Veterinary Hospital in Monroeville, Pennsylvania. Dr. Amanda Vale has joined Alliance Animal Health Center in Fort Worth, Texas. Dr. Shannon Vanderlaan has joined White Veterinary Services all the way over in Cushing, Oklahoma. Dr. Lindsay Vaughn just completed an internship in lab animal medicine at Mississippi State and now joins Tulane University's National Primate Center residency in New Orleans. Next, we have Dr. Michelle Semzak Wilson, who is employed at Symmetry Animal and Bird Clinic of Dallas, Texas. Dr. Michaela Zook joined Salt Plains Veterinary Services in Cherokee, Oklahoma. She is being hooded by Dr. Marisa Tolson, her distinguished hooder. The final one from the class of 2020 is Dr. Elizabeth Zwillenberg, who has joined Tri-County Veterinary Services based in Anna, Texas.
We're going to know, because Congratulations again, class of 2020. It is good to see so many of you back. At this time, we will now hood the class of 2021. Marshals, please prepare the students for the hooding.
As the class of 2021 begins, I'd like to take this brief moment to express my thanks, and it's my high honor and privilege to be a reader for both the class of 2020 and class of 2021. I thank you for the privilege. Leading off the class of 2021, Dr. Pamela Abe, who will join private practice in Las Vegas, Nevada. Next, we have Dr. Haley Errant. Haley will join Rogers Animal Hospital in Corsicana, Texas. Dr. Crystal Arnold will join Chandler Animal Clinic in Chandler, Oklahoma. Dr. Zachary Arnold. Dr. Arnold will join Circle T Veterinary Services, Orange Grove, Texas. Next is Dr. Madeline Atha. Dr. Atha will join Hansford County Veterinary Hospital in Spearman, Texas. Dr. Atha's distinguished hooder is Dr. Michael Atha. Next, Dr. Megan Billen. Dr. Billen will join I-20 Animal Medical Center in Arlington, Texas, where she will practice small animal and exotic medicine. Dr. Stephanie Black. Dr. Black will join Crosstown Veterinary Services out of Guthrie, Oklahoma. Dr. Heather Bliss. Dr. Bliss will join Whatcom Veterinary Hospital, Ferndale, Washington. Next is Dr. Elizabeth Bowl. Dr. Bowl will join Colonial Animal Clinic in Hillsboro, Ohio. Next, Dr. Marissa Bourgeois. Dr. Bourgeois will join Golden Triangle Veterinary Hospital in South Lake, Texas. Dr. Chloe Bradway. Dr. Bradway plans to join Skiatook Animal Clinic in Skiatook, Oklahoma. Dr. Mackenzie Brewer will join Stillwater Equine Services here in Stillwater, Oklahoma. Next is Dr. Chelsea Broyles. Dr. Broyles will join Hereford Veterinary Clinic in Hereford, Texas. Next, Dr. Megan Greer. Dr. Greer will join Main Street Veterinary Hospital and Dental Clinic out of Flower Mound, Texas. Her distinguished hooder is Dr. Suzanne Campbell. Next, we have Dr. Brenda Castorena. Dr. Castorena is planning to join TLC Animal Hospital in El Paso, Texas. Next, we have Dr. Lauren Chattis. Dr. Chattis plans to join Banfield Pet Hospital in Owasso, Oklahoma. Next, we have Dr. Caleb Klein. Dr. Klein is joining Southwest Veterinary Hospital in Goldsby, Oklahoma. Dr. Miranda Coffey. Dr. Coffey is joining Spiro Veterinary Clinic in Spiro, Oklahoma. Dr. Gabby Cole. Dr. Cole is joining Woodland West Veterinary Clinic, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Next, we have Dr. Angelina Coletti. Dr. Coletti will join Inspirata Animal Hospital in Henderson, Nevada. She has a distinguished hooder, Dr. Richard Coletti, her father. Approaching the podium next, Dr. Casey Cover. Dr. Cover will join Schumacher Veterinary Clinic in Las Cruces, New Mexico. Dr. Shanna Cruz. Dr. Cruz will join Northside Animal Clinic, Cleburne, Texas. Next, Dr. Melanie Davis. Dr. Davis will join Churchland Animal Clinic in Portsmouth, Virginia. We now have Dr. Rachel Denny. Dr. Denny will join the Small Animal Hospital of Owasso in Owasso, Oklahoma. Dr. Denny is being hooded by a distinguished hooder, Dr. Raymond Denny, her father. Dr. Matthew Denson. Dr. Denson will join the Animal Medical Center I-35 in Edmond, Oklahoma.
Thank you, Dr. Snyder and Dr. Nave. We will now continue with the second half of the 2021 class. Dr. Reichert and Dr. Rudd, please come forward.
Dr. Kara Dew. Dr. Dew will join Waterville Veterinary Hospital in Waterville, New York. Dr. Megan Dooley. Dr. Dooley will join Shiloh Springs Veterinary Clinic in Shiloh Springs, Arkansas. Dr. Leah Eaton. Dr. Laura Edwards. Dr. Edwards will be joining Purdue University and entering into an internship program. Dr. Hannah Felder. Dr. Felder will be joining Southwest Veterinary Clinic in Hobart, Oklahoma. Dr. Jamie Finnell. Dr. Finnell will be joining Staunton Veterinary Services Hospital in Staunton, Madison, Wisconsin. Dr. Finnell is being hooded by Dr. Joseph Landers. Next is Dr. Dakota Forbes. He will be joining the U.S. Veterinary Army Corps. Dr. Alex Forst. Dr. Forst will be joining Animal Medical Clinic in Fayetteville, Arkansas. Next is Dr. Carly Gates. Dr. Gates will be hooded by Dr. Dan Walker. Dr. Gates will be joining MetroPaws Animal Hospital in Skillman in Dallas, Texas. Dr. Carolyn Hahn. Dr. Hahn will be joining Cadence Animal Hospital in Henderson, Nevada. Dr. Darian Hallam. Dr. Hallam will be joining Banfield Pet Hospital in Edmond, Oklahoma. Dr. Seth Hiddink. Dr. Hiddink will be joining Crosby Veterinary Services in Arcadia, Oklahoma. Dr. Summer Hiddink. Dr. Hiddink will be joining Yukon Hills Animal Hospital in Yukon, Oklahoma. Dr. Corey Hoffman. Dr. Hoffman will be joining Ridgeview Veterinary Hospital. Dr. Emma Holton. Dr. Holton will be joining MedVet Chicago, Illinois, and entering an internship program. Dr. Laura House. Dr. House will be hooded by Dr. Julie House. Dr. House will be joining San Marcos Veterinary Clinic in San Marcos, Texas. Dr. Jody Howe. Dr. Jesse Huffman. Dr. Huffman will be joining Ozark Veterinary Clinic in Ozark, Missouri. Dr. Casey Ingram. Dr. Ingram will be joining Oak Ridge Equine in Edmond, Oklahoma for an internship. Dr. Ashley Curse. Dr. Curse will be joining Yukon Hills Animal Hospital in Yukon, Oklahoma. Dr. Kimberly Kern. Dr. Kern will be joining Mirabella Animal Hospital in St. Augustine, Florida. Dr. Christy Korchek. Dr. Korchek will be joining Tiny Town Animal Clinic in Clarksville, Tennessee. Dr. Wilkes Kothman. Dr. Kothman will be joining Territory Medicine in Weatherford, Oklahoma. Dr. Kelly Kremelbein. Dr. Kremelbein will be joining Banfield Pet Hospital in Comac, New York. Dr. Kendra Latta. Dr. Latta will be joining City Vet in Euless, Texas. Dr. Madison Levitsky. Dr. Levitsky will be joining Juergens Equine Hospital in Gill, Colorado. Dr. Carly Long. Dr. Long will be joining Brazos Veterinary Equine Hospital in Stephenville, Texas for an internship. Dr. Alexandria Loprinzi. Dr. Loprinzi will be joining Blue Pearl in Tampa Bay, Florida for an emergency medicine program. Dr. Colby Lundquist. Dr. Lundquist will be joining the Animal Hospital of Frisco, Texas. Dr. Rachel Moranville. Dr. Moranville will be joining Midwestern University in Glendale, Arizona, and entering to an internship program. Dr. Elizabeth Marhenka. Dr. Marhenka will be joining Hillside Veterinary Clinic in Dallas, Texas. Dr. Patrick Mann. Dr. Mann will be joining Vickery Place Animal Hospital in Dallas, Texas. Dr. Kristen Maxwell. Dr. Maxwell will join Good Shepherd Veterinary Hospital in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. Dr. Aaron McCarty. Dr. McCarty will be joining Equine Medical Associates in Lexington, Kentucky. Dr. Maddie McIntyre. Dr. McIntyre will be joining Double J Animal Hospital in Hobbs, New Mexico. Dr. Paula Merriweather. Dr. Merriweather will be joining City Vet Addison in Addison, Texas. Dr. Breanne Morrill. Dr. Morrill will be joining Blue Pearl, Stone Oak, San Antonio for an internship program in Texas. Dr. Sage Morton. Dr. Morton will be joining ProVet of Siloam Springs in Siloam Springs, Arkansas. Dr. Taylor Mouse. Dr. Mouse will be joining Stockman's Veterinary Clinic in Elk City, Oklahoma. Dr. Felicia Napolillo. Dr. Napolillo will be joining Pittsburgh Veterinary Specialty and Emergency Center in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania for an internship. Dr. Ellen Nasser. Dr. Nasser will be joining Summertree Animal and Bird Clinic in Dallas, Texas. Dr. Dalton Newell. Dr. Newell will be joining Sturgeon Veterinary Hospital, Veterinary Services in Hydro, Oklahoma. Dr. Samantha Nicholson. Dr. Nicholson will be joining Central Veterinary Services in Stockton, Kansas. Dr. Courtney O'Connor. Dr. O'Connor will be joining Lakeshore Veterinary Specialist in Milwaukee, Wisconsin for an internship. Dr. Morgan Umps. Dr. Umps will be joining Temecula Creek Equine in Temecula, California. Dr. Danielle Owens. Dr. Owens will be joining Muddy Branch Veterinary Center in Gaithersburg, Maryland. Dr. Stormy Perry. Dr. Perry will be joining Blue Pearl in Grand Rapids, Michigan for an internship. Dr. Shania Peterman. Dr. Peterman will be joining Lyons Veterinary Clinic in Lyons, Kansas. Dr. Caleb Platt. Dr. Platt will be joining Southern Plains Animal Hospital in Ringling, Oklahoma. Next is Dr. Catherine Plummer. Dr. Plummer will be hooded by Dr. Amy Plummer. Dr. Plummer will be joining Animal Hospital and Emergency Center of Conroe, Texas. Dr. Andrea Popkin. Dr. Popkin will join Pine Ridge Equine Hospital in Glenpool, Oklahoma for an internship. Dr. Holly Richter. Dr. Richter will join Cross Timbers Veterinary Center in McKinney, Texas. Dr. Lisa Rorstrom. Dr. Rorstrom will join Signal Butte Animal Hospital in Mesa, Arizona. Dr. Wyatt Schroeder. Dr. Schroeder will join Pryor Veterinary Hospital. Dr. Ashley Sin. Dr. Sin will join Blackwell Animal Hospital in Blackwell, Oklahoma. Dr. Amanda Smith. Dr. Smith will join a residency program at the University of Missouri. Dr. Emma Steinken. Dr. Steinken will be hooded by Dr. Rachel Steinken. Dr. Steinken will join Veterinary Specialty and Emergency Center in Indianapolis, Indiana. Dr. Samantha Stewart. Dr. Stewart will join Centennial Hills Animal Hospital in Las Vegas, Nevada. Dr. Chelsea Terry. Dr. Terry will join Animal Hospital at Auburn Hills in Wichita, Kansas. Dr. Wesley Tinnen. Dr. Tinnen is being hooded by Dr. Meredith Tinnen, his sister-in-law. Dr. Cassidy Vandermolen. Dr. Vandermolen will join Canadian Valley Animal Clinic in El Reno, Oklahoma. Dr. Mary Watkins. Dr. Watkins will join VCA in Carmel, Indiana. Dr. Emily Wilkinson. Dr. Wilkinson will join Good Shepherd Veterinary Hospital in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. Dr. Randy Williams. Dr. Williams will join Crosstown Veterinary Services in Guthrie, Oklahoma. Dr. Alex Whittorf. Dr. Whittorf will join Oklahoma State University for an internship. Dr. William Womble. Dr. Womble Dr. Jennifer Wyrick. Dr. Wyrick is being hooded by Dr. Scott Wyrick. Dr. Wyrick will join Oklahoma State University for an internship in shelter medicine and surgery. Dr. Gregory Yost. Dr. Yost will join Oklahoma Veterinary Specialist in Tulsa, Oklahoma for an internship.
Well done and congratulations. Dr. Ritchie, please come to the podium and administer the veterinarian's oath.
Doctors, please rise. Any veterinarian, class of 2020, anybody may rise and reaffirm your oath if you wish. Raise your right hand, please, and repeat after me. Being admitted to the profession of veterinary medicine, I solemnly swear to use my scientific knowledge and skills for the benefit of society, through the protection of animal health and welfare, the prevention and relief of animal suffering, the conservation of animal resources, the promotion of public health, and the advancement of scientific knowledge. I will practice my profession conscientiously, with dignity, and in keeping with the principles of veterinary medical ethics. I accept as a lifelong obligation the continual improvement of my professional knowledge and competence. Congratulations. You may be seated.
Thank you, Dr. Ritchie. The Gentle Doctor Award is a reflection of concern, affection, love, and the significance of life for all of God's creatures, great and small. The Iowa State College of Veterinary Medicine is home to the highly recognized Gentle Doctor sculpture by Christian Peterson. The statue was created in heroic, larger-than-life proportions, standing 7 feet tall. The tall, capable doctor gently holds an injured or ailing puppy while glancing down to catch the watchful gaze of the mother dog. The mother dog leans against the gentle doctor's knee, patiently waiting at his feet. The sculpture evokes our human compassion for all animals, particularly our companion animals. This year's Gentle Doctor Award goes to Dr. Chloe Bradway. You may stand. At this time, I would like to acknowledge the most prestigious award that can be bestowed upon any graduate of the College of Veterinary Medicine, the Dean Clarence McElroy Award. This recipient was chosen by the faculty and class peers based on academic achievement, leadership, and outstanding clinical proficiency. The 2021 McElroy Award recipient is Dr. Greg Yost. Oklahoma State University Veterinary Program has a long-standing relationship with the military, beginning when many of our students attended on GI Bills. Throughout the past 70 years, many more have served our country through the veterinary field, from the treatment of military family pets and military animals to ensuring a safe food and water supply for all enlisted. Their knowledge has served our country in many ways. I would like to take a moment to recognize two of our military veterinarians. From the class of 2020, Dr. Jared Nenninger, Army veteran, served in the 319th Military Battalion. From the class of 2021, Dr. Dakota Forbes will serve as Army Captain and will be stationed in Fort Campbell, Kentucky. Thank you for your service to our country. We all know one's physical, mental, and social well-being is vital to their success. Our College of Veterinary Medicine Student American Veterinary Medical Association felt so strongly about this initiative that they created a college wellness committee. This group of students, faculty, and staff contribute to the overall health and well-being of our students during their DVM academic career. Those who have served in the class of 2021, please stand and be recognized. Thank you. No graduation ceremony would be complete without recognizing those family members and friends of our graduates who have stood by their side for these past years and provided them support and encouragement. With the family and friends that have joined us today, please stand so that you can be recognized for your support. So class of 2021, this past year you transitioned well to a new norm in your clinical training under extraordinary circumstances in your lives. You adapted well, accepted new challenges, resolved them to the best of your ability, encouraged each other to do the same, and kept your devotion to your studies and the veterinary profession. You have been an inspiration to us and to other Oklahoma State University College of Veterinary Medicine classes that will follow. Indeed, the class of 2021 will leave a legacy in our college. We're very proud of you. Congratulations. I wish you much success and prosperity in the days ahead. And go Pokes! Thanks everyone for joining us. We will start the recession when we conclude our alma mater. Please join us.
Proud and immortal, bright shines your name, Oklahoma State. We herald your fame. Ever you'll find us loyal and true.